Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to take your places. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, je vous invite à prendre place. The Secretary General and the President of the Federal Republic of Germany will now take their places. Le Secrétaire Général et le Président de la République fédérale d'Allemagne vont maintenant prendre place. The ceremony will begin with an address by the Secretary General. La cérémonie va débuter par une allocution du Secrétaire Général.
What a stirring start to this special ceremony. And thank you so much to the Bundeswehr concert band. The name of that march is Viribus Unitis. In English, it translates as with united forces. A sentiment that resonates deeply with us all in NATO. We are 32 nations strong, united in our commitment to protect all our people. President Steinmeier, dear Frank Walter, dear all, today we mark 70 years since the Federal Republic of Germany became a member of NATO. Frank Walter, I am truly honored to welcome you to NATO Headquarters on this important occasion for your country and for our alliance. It's great to have you here. On May 6, 1955, Germany became the 15th country to join this alliance. Just 10 years after the end of the Second World War, and only 6 years after NATO was founded. Throughout the decades, you have proven to be a steadfast ally, making invaluable contributions to this collective cause. We are stronger and safer as a result. Today, I welcome the chance to reflect on the role that Germany has played in NATO over the years. During the Cold War, West Germany was the centerpiece of NATO's collective defense. Allies had massive military deployments in the Federal Republic, working alongside the West German forces. Together, we were deterring the Soviet Union. After the Cold War, a reunited Germany made the case for building bridges, developing partnerships, and giving the new democracies in Central and Eastern Europe a home in NATO. Germany has also contributed greatly to NATO operations beyond our borders, not least in support of peace and stability in the Balkans, and to ensure Afghanistan would not be a safe haven for international terrorism. Today, Germany is a leading power in Europe and a driving force in NATO, making major contributions to our shared security. With troops along the eastern part of our alliance, jets patrolling the Baltic skies, and ships protecting key supply lines and critical infrastructure in the Baltic Sea. Germany is also the largest European contributor of military aid to Ukraine. Your support helps keep Ukraine strong. And a strong Ukraine is the best way to ensure a just and lasting peace. Crucially, Germany is really stepping up on defense, already investing 2% of its GDP for the first time now in 3 decades. And boosting its defense industry. Just recently, the German parliament changed the constitution to massively increase its defense spending. This is remarkable. Another clear demonstration of German leadership. There was a time when NATO wanted to keep the Germans down, as NATO's first Secretary General famously said. Not anymore. The Germans are up. And this is exactly what we need in the face of greater danger. While much has changed since that day in May 1955, when Chancellor Adenauer signed the official accession of the Federal Republic to NATO, the spirit of Viribus Unitis, united forces, remains as strong as ever in our alliance. Today, Germany can count on 31 friends and allies. And we can count on Germany. Thank you so much and congratulations. And now it is my honor to give you the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary General, dear Mark, Mr. Minister of Defense, Excellencies, Generals, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for joining us in this celebration today. I thank the Secretary General, my dear friend Mark Rutte, for the warm welcome. Mark, your job is one of the most important and most challenging jobs these days. Imagine there was a job posting for NATO Secretary General going up on LinkedIn today. I'm not sure how many people would say, yep, I'm up for that one. Mark, I'm really glad it is you who is doing this job. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your diplomacy. And I also want to thank Christopher Cavoli. He is an outstanding American leader, a great friend of Germany, and a driving force of the alliance. As you all know, the Sakur is already a 4-star general. But as of 30 minutes ago, he is also a knight commander of the German Order of Merit, and it was my absolute pleasure to honor him that way. Congratulations, General Cavoli. And most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you here, military or civilian, working for the headquarters or your national missions. I want to thank all of you for your service, for your dedication. By serving your nation, you are serving us all. And by serving the alliance, you are serving your nation. That's the power of NATO, and I urge all leaders out there, let's remember that we are stronger together. Ladies and gentlemen, as President of Germany, I stand before you, our allies, to commemorate 70 years of German membership in NATO. As I do so, two emotions weigh on my mind and my heart. First of all, a deep sense of gratitude, but an equally deep sense of urgency. Imagine 1955. The horrors of the Second World War were just 10 years away. Just 10 years since 60 million had died, 6 million Jews murdered, and whole Europe in ruins. And all because of the destruction and hatred that my country had unleashed. Gratitude doesn't even begin to capture what it meant for Germany to be brought back to the table, taken under the wing of Article 5, even allowed to rearm. Among few other milestones, the joining of the United Nations, the process of European integration, the Ostpolitik of deterrence and detente, this moment in 1955 was a key that opened up my nation's path to peace, prosperity, and unification. 70 years back, It was a decision of remarkable strategic foresight and impact. And I can only wish us and our leaders a similar degree of strategic wisdom today, as the path from here on out looks even more uncertain than it looked back then. It has been, to build on a phrase from Eric Hobsbawm, a long 20th century. Looking at the world today, we are experiencing the end of the long 20th century. Epochal shifts are underway, both to the east and to the west. And this is where my sense of gratitude meets with a sense of urgency. Everything we have learned from this long 20th century seems at stake today. From the ruins of 2 world wars, through the Cold War, the building of a united Europe, and our hope in the lasting prevalence of liberal international order, this arc has led my country to what it is today. It has brought us peace and prosperity. It has defined everything we believe in. Yet, every lesson we have taken from this journey is either in doubt or being challenged or attacked. This is why we Germans are particularly stirred and worried by what's going on around us. But I say to my fellow Germans, we shouldn't just be worried. We are called upon, and we need to step up. Today, with Putin's war against Ukraine raging on in full force, and with the United States putting fierce pressure on its European allies, Germany, I think, is in a crucial position. That's why I speak to you, your allies, not just with gratitude, but with urgency. Germany is being called on, and we heard the call, we got the message, and indeed, Mark, you can count on us. We will continue to strengthen our armed forces, the Bundeswehr, and we will step up investments in our defense industry. We will work hard to meet our commitments to NATO's regional plans. We will continue to be Ukraine's strongest supporter in Europe to uphold its freedom and its sovereignty and its European future. And we will strive to make Germany, both its military and its infrastructure, the backbone of conventional defense in Europe. The fact, you mentioned it, Mark, the fact that Germany's parliament has, by a large supra-partisan consensus, mobilized 500 billion euro over the next 12 years should prove to you that we are serious about it. We mean it, dear friends. Maybe the end of the long 20th century is also reflected in the changing role of my country. Up until now, every milestone for Germany, every turning point for the better, has been, in some way, one of restraint, of embedding, of becoming part of something larger. NATO, for instance, United Nations, the European Union. After all, my country's past, the German question, loomed large in everyone's memory. So yes, for a long time we didn't invest as much in our own defense because the times were different. For a long time, war in Europe had become almost inconceivable. But the tides have turned. Putin has brought war back to this continent. It has laid Europe's security order to waste. Germany now doesn't just need to be part of the whole, but stand up for the whole, maybe even stand out. Today, a badly armed Germany is a greater threat to Europe than a strongly armed Germany. Ein schlecht gerüstetes Deutschland ist die größere Gefahr für Europa als ein stark gerüstetes Deutschland. I think virtually all of our allies have long subscribed to that statement. It is much harder to accept for us Germans ourselves. And in view of our history, I hope you understand why. Still, I urge my fellow Germans to embrace this new reality. That's why I repeated it in German. I'm convinced the most important task of the new German government is to strengthen our armed forces, to close the gap between our promises and our capabilities, to finish what we call the Zeitenwende. We need a strong military, not in order to wage war, but to prevent it. And as a former diplomat, let me add, our foreign policy needs a strong military too, not to replace diplomacy, but to make it credible. An era is ending, and a new era is beginning. One that certainly doesn't look rosy so far. Of course, there are doubts. There is every reason to doubt. In fact, there is a new reason every time you open your social media feeds. There are doubts on both sides of the Atlantic. Many Americans are saying, what's in it for us? Why can't Europe finally take care of itself? And many Europeans are asking, what has happened to our biggest ally? Why are we treated not as partners, but as supplicants? At this 70 years commemoration, I have the luxury of stepping back from the daily irritation. As I look back, full of gratitude to 7 decades of freedom and security, I ask myself, what will it take for us to protect our freedom and security 7 decades from now? My answer is, it will still take the power of the alliance. It will need to be an alliance that rests on 2 equal pillars, a strong Europe and a strong North America. Reassurance, Mark, you are saying usually reassurance is a two-way street. And if both pillars are equally strong, I'm convinced that this alliance is of irreplaceable value on both sides of the Atlantic. Think of it this way. This alliance was born of the strength of democracies in the 20th century. No country, not even the United States, would be able to create such an alliance again in the 21st century. But all of us, even the strongest, will need allies in this 21st century. So let's make sure to remember what's at stake. Let me end with one final thought. As we are focusing so much on how to shore up our defenses, let's not forget what it is that we are defending. It's not just our territory. It's our freedom, our democracies, and the rule of law. I think we all know that these have come under attack, not just from outside, but very much from within as well. I think all of us, in different ways, in our different political cultures, are feeling the sinister spread of authoritarian trends and tendencies. The long 20th century is ending, but its lessons are not out of date. You can count on Germany's commitment to NATO, but you can also count on our commitment to the principles that we hold dear. Anyone who looks at German history sees how things turned wrong and how things turned right. Anyone who looks at the world today sees how our future could turn either way. So let's keep this precious alliance and let's keep these values strong. It will take us a lot, it will take a lot from us, military might and political acumen, commitment to our values, and respect for our partners. Germany is ready to give all of the above. Thank you so much.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the German national anthem will now be played. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, nous allons maintenant entendre l'hymne national allemand. The NATO hymn will now be played. Nous allons maintenant entendre l'hymne de l'OTAN. This concludes the ceremony. For those invited to the reception, we kindly ask that you make your way to the Campus area. La cérémonie est maintenant terminée. Nous invitons les personnes invitées à la réception à se diriger vers le Campus.